Level 1. The Boy in the Courtyard. Jerusalem in the 12th century is a city of blinding sun and holy relics. Imagine being sole heir to the most powerful kingdom on earth, child of King Amalric. Your destiny is to rule the holy city and protect Christendom's greatest prize. Yet your life is not destroyed by an enemy's sword or a crusade. It is shattered during an innocent childhood game in the palace gardens. This is 9-year-old Prince Baldwin. While his royal father defends precarious borders, the boy wrestles cheerfully with peers in the sunlit courtyard. Suddenly, another boy grabs Baldwin's arm, violently digging sharp fingernails deep into his flesh. Blood appears against pale skin. Look closely at Baldwin's face. He does not blink once. There is no scream of agony or change in expression. He feels zero pain. Watching is tutor William of Tyre. Horrified, he tests Baldwin's arm with a lit candle flame. The fire sears his skin, forming a visible burn, yet the boy watches with detached curiosity. The prince has leprosy, a living death sentence. Level 2. The Final Verdict. The claustrophobic royal medical room smells of strange herbs and despair. Only a sliver of light cuts through the gloom. With hesitant hands, the royal physician unwraps stained linen bandages from Baldwin's arm, revealing the patch that changed everything. Under inspection, the skin appears pale, discolored, and completely numb to the sharp prick of a scalpel. Realizing the gravity, the physician steps back into the shadows, covering his mouth in horror, unable to face the child. This 9-year-old boy, sitting quietly on the stool, is direct heir to the throne of Jerusalem, but he now carries a dark curse. In the 12th century, leprosy meant becoming a despised outcast. It is a living nightmare where your body slowly decays while you remain fully conscious. Your features collapse inward, your eyes fail, and your extremities wither away. Victims are banished outside city walls, forced to ring bells to warn the healthy away. But Baldwin is a prince. Looking at the distant leper colony, he vows never to hide in shame. Level 3. The Boy King. The old king, Amalric, is dead. Grief grips the city, but ambition consumes the palace. Inside the great hall, amidst flickering candlelight, a heavy golden crown is lowered onto the head of a 13-year-old boy. Baldwin IV is now king of Jerusalem. His bandaged right hand grips the ornate throne to hold his fragile body steady. Below him, the royal court is not a gathering of loyal subjects, but a den of hungry wolves. Greedy barons kneel before him, speaking words of hollow fealty. Their eyes fix on his bandaged hands, calculating how many months this sick child will survive before they can seize his power. Factions form and knives are sharpened in hidden corners. Only his loyal tutor stands protectively by his side. Yet the greatest danger lies outside the city walls. To the south and east, the most brilliant general in the Muslim world has stepped onto the stage. Saladin has united fractured empires from Cairo to Damascus under one green banner, vowing to reclaim the holy city. Only a crippled boy stands in his way. Level 4. The Miracle. Baldwin is now 16 years old. Leprosy is ravaging his body, curling his fingers into useless claws. Suddenly, scouts burst into the war room with dire news. Saladin has invaded with 26,000 battle-hardened men. Jerusalem is caught off guard. Baldwin musters just 375 knights. Advisors panic, begging the king to hide behind the stone walls of Ascalon. But Baldwin refuses to cower. Tearful servants physically strap a heavy shield to his numb arm because his paralyzed fingers cannot grip the handle. Despite immense physical agony, he leads his tiny force into the desert. At Montgisard, Saladin's massive army rests, unaware of any threat. Baldwin suddenly appears on the high ridge above the camp, framed against the sun. Raising his sword, he orders the impossible charge. 300 armored knights thunder downhill, smashing like a battering ram into 26,000 unprepared soldiers. Saladin's army is shattered, and the warlord flees on a racing camel. The Leper King wins. Level 5. The Rotting Throne. Baldwin is now 18. The fleeting glory of Montgisard has faded, replaced by the grim reality of his disease. The incurable sickness is accelerating its horrifying work. Confined to the palace, his face and body are heavily wrapped in thick linen bandages to conceal the physical decay from his people. Every movement is a prison of agony. He rules from private chambers, but the real battlefield is inside his own palace. Domestic enemies prove deadlier than foreign armies. His manipulative mother, Agnes of Courtenay, moves through shadowy corners, whispering secrets. His arrogant brother-in-law, Guy de Lusignan, ruthlessly bribes guards and openly plots to steal the sacred crown. The royal court has collapsed into vicious factions, arguing over who will seize control when the king dies. They are greedy vultures circling dying prey. Trapped inside his ruined body, Baldwin watches his kingdom tear itself apart. Meanwhile, deep in the desert, Saladin patiently rebuilds his massive army. Saladin waits calmly for the king to die. Level 6. The Iron Will. Baldwin is now 20 years old. Unable to walk on paralyzed legs, silent servants carry him into the massive great hall. The squabbling nobles fall into stunned silence as he is lowered onto the throne. The bulky bandages that once obscured his face are gone. In their place is a cold, emotionless, perfectly sculpted silver mask that reveals nothing. If the court wants to stare at their king, they will stare at something immutable and unbreakable. Arrogant Guy de Lusignan steps boldly forward, expecting to take total command of the army. Instead, Baldwin raises a single, trembling finger, publicly stripping the ambitious fool of all military command. Despite a ruined body, Baldwin's mind remains a razor-sharp sword. He bypasses corrupt barons and hands the royal seal to the only man he trusts, the loyal northern regent. Betrayal hangs in the air, yet as long as the man in the silver mask breathes, his authority remains absolute. His unbreakable iron will holds the fragile kingdom together against all human odds. Level 7. The Last Ride. Baldwin is 21. His eyesight is gone, plunging his world into permanent darkness. In his silent bedchamber, he rules a realm falling apart. Messengers arrive with dire news. Saladin has besieged the vital fortress of Kerak. Walls crumble, and defenders die while the royal council panics. Fearing defeat, the regent refuses to send the army, abandoning the fortress to burn. Hearing reports of doomed subjects, the blind king refuses to let his people die. He orders guards to prepare a wooden litter. He cannot hold a sword, ride a horse, or even see the enemy. Yet 4 guards carry the paralyzed king to the military camp on a simple stretcher. When demoralized soldiers see their masked king carried to the front lines, a fierce fire ignites in their hearts. Inspired by a ruler who refuses to die, the army erupts in a massive battle cry and marches forward. Looking out from his tent, Saladin sees the royal banners of the Leper King approaching with unstoppable fury. Saladin retreats. The fragile sandcastle survives. Level 8. The Blind King. Baldwin is 22 years old. The victory at Kerak was his final masterpiece. Now completely blind and bedridden, his royal chamber is swallowed by heavy shadows. Every breath is a prison of agony, paid for with dark blood seeping through thick bandages. Yet from this dark room, he still governs his realm. The man inside the silver mask is still king. He dictates crucial letters and commands armies from pure memory, directing the defense of his borders. Baldwin knows the vultures now stand inside his bedroom, waiting for his heart to stop beating. In a desperate attempt to prevent political collapse, Baldwin summons hostile barons to his bedside and presents his successor, his 5-year-old nephew. With his remaining strength, the dying king forces the most powerful men in Jerusalem to kneel on the stone floor and swear an oath of loyalty to the child. He cannot see their faces, but he hears their hollow lies echoing in the silence. He knows they will betray the boy the moment he dies, yet he fiercely holds on to Jerusalem. Level 9. The Sand Castle. Baldwin is 23 years old. His body is a ruined shell, a mere collection of bandaged bones. Slumped in his stone throne, he wears the cold silver mask to hide his physical decay. Beside him sits his 5-year-old nephew holding a harmless wooden toy sword. In a desperate coronation, the High Patriarch places the heavy golden crown onto the toddler's head. The crippled man and innocent boy now rule the holy city as co-kings. It is a heartbreaking defense against the massive forces of ambition waiting in the shadows. Baldwin has built a precarious wall of paper oaths and wax seals, forcing nobles to promise fealty. But inside the echoing great hall, as bells ring for the new king, Baldwin knows the crushing truth. His entire life's work, his glorious victory at Montgisard, his iron will that stopped Saladin, all of it is nothing more than a fragile sandcastle built on the edge of a raging sea. The sand is crumbling. He bought Jerusalem precious years paid with his blood, but now he awaits the inevitable. Level 10. The Death of the King. Baldwin IV is now 24 years old. He is no longer just a man. He is an indomitable iron will trapped inside a tomb of medical bandages. At last, the inevitable arrives. The massive chest of the Leper King stops moving, and he draws his final breath. The dark, empty eyes of the sculpted silver mask stare out into eternity, reflecting nothing. In a solemn, silent room, the High Patriarch gently closes the king's eyes. The grand bells of Jerusalem begin to toll, echoing across the vast desert sands. The boy who saved a kingdom is dead. Tragically, his fragile nephew, Child King Baldwin V, dies of illness shortly after. With the true heirs gone, greedy Guy de Lusignan aggressively seizes the golden crown. In his arrogant foolishness, Guy marches the Christian army out into the blistering heat at the horns of Hattin. Saladin traps them, raining down a storm of arrows that blocks out the desert sun. The Crusader army is completely destroyed. Soon after, Saladin reclaims Jerusalem. Baldwin's sandcastle falls.